So that next time ukitaka kutualika huo nafikiria twice. The late Kariuki Chotara angesema kumekujo. Tumekuja but to worship God. We come with all humility and thank God for the word that we have heard from our Tanzanian brother. Askofu nilikuwa akiongea pale anasema mjukuu wake na mtoto wake wa kwanza 43 years old. Wajukuu 9. Nikamwangalia, he looks 40. I had to ask him, ulizaliwa lini askofu? God's, as they say, God's grace has been more than sufficient for you. Peleka tena salamu zetu kwa Watanzania. Wangapi anamtuma tena apeleke salamu zetu? Asante. Kuna ujumbe fulani lakini nyamaza tu kidogo. Nyamaza tu kidogo na utulie. Tuko kanisani, tulia. I want to introduce two friends who are not from the leadership of political formation, lakini watu wa ajabu. They are very much close to Senator Agnes Kavindu, who is herself a prophetess. She's never afraid of that. I just want to recognize our brother Apostle Collins Musembi. Bishop Obonyo, you may be interested to know some, because this is not about Kenyan political leadership. It's about, please don't stand. You make me almost tremble. I want you to know that some members of the clergy have actually been demonstrating with other Kenyans. And the example is Collins Musembi, Apostle Collins Musembi, and our sister Leah Nyambura. She is AKA Overflow, Prophetess Overflow. She looks like she is overflowing with grace. The only difference between Collins and Overflow was when we were tear gas in Mathare, Overflow did not know how to duck the tear gas. Collins was able to mingle in and wriggle out. We want you to know that men of great faith and mission have looked at what has been doing in terms of taking risk as Kenyans. So it is not just it's not just Azimio, ni Kenyans. Naomba tu niseme kwamba if you and I want to suggest perhaps the music team, I'll do this if you don't mind. It's good that Wi-Fi is perfect here. Google the words. Yeah, because I want us to really sing after my small presentation. Stand up for Jesus. Please Google that, because I'll be asking us to sing. Because we're also celebrating 20 years. Bishop Obonyo, this is our celebration, standing for Jesus. Because men and women have been standing for themselves. And so, God in His wisdom, through some songwriters, did us amazing. And I want you to look at the lyrics. The lyrics, stand up for Jesus. I will lead in the singing. I love singing. But before that, Psalms 21, verse 11. Though they plan evil against you, though they devise mischief, they will not succeed. For you will put them to flight. You will aim at their faces with your bows. This is, again, a celebratory message from the writer of Psalms. And sometimes it was King David himself, as you know, the great man to whom we are referred. Now, Apostle or Bishop Obonyo, you have great memory. In your printed program, I think you have met with the leadership of this country. I've seen you have met with the immediate former President Uhuru Kenyatta. I see you met with my brother Raila Odinga. And I think you came to my office. It must have been when I was in the Foreign Office, I think, 23 years ago, 20 years ago, after the 202 most democratic elections in our country. Kumbukeni wakati Raila kasema Kibaki si anatosha. That's when I went in as foreign minister in 2003, and I think that's when you came to my office and we gave you our blessings. 20 years ago, you have seen the young men who came dancing. They beat Mawathe completely at it. I mean, and you, Bishop, and I, because these are the millennials, and they are very flexible. And so, wonderful men and women, products of great faith and mission, a sense of mission. So I congratulate you, Bishop Obonyo and Mama, and the congregation. We have even seen that Kano Rasanga, I think when last we came here, Kano Rasanga was with us. Great testimony that you prayed for him, you really helped him in so many ways, became Governor Siaya, and he did his 10 years. So when we come, like we have come today, we come with great humility. And we know right now, there are lots of doubts in the minds of Kenyans as a result of what happened at Shakahola. Kenyans are asking simple questions. Is it true? Is it that there are men and women misusing the name of God? Is it cults or what? I want to remind you, when you came to house number 100 Southland, you really know me. By the way, bring your greetings from my wife Pauline. Continue to pray for her, so that again, God will heal her in his time. It was then, I think I was Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. And no, I think either that or I was practicing law from my offices in Church House, near the former American Embassy, opposite there. And I was also doing work with the Scripture Union. And I registered Redeemed Gospel Church. Since you are sent by Archbishop Kitonga, you must have been bringing those papers, so that I registered Redeemed Gospel Church. I'm happy that I did not register a cult. Please give me a clap. I also registered Crisco. When I saw Apostle Das, and he came in with a friend who looked like from Guyana, I remembered the story of Jim Jones, a person who led a cult and got people to drink poison and they died. Pretty much like Shakahola. We must ask ourselves these basic questions. Mama Aida Odinga asked a question. Now she said, don't you think we need to regulate? Now that time I think has come. And I want to challenge the church, the mainland church, to be able to do something about not hindering the freedom of worship. Because that you can't. It is written in our constitution. You cannot. And so, I want to tell you that even those cults, so to speak, if they are worshipping, you may find it difficult to stop them. But one thing, the government is not a cult. We have police, instead of chasing Wandai and us, issuing instructions. And I'm going to comment on that, unfortunately, because we're all the same, Bishop. So I'd rather we pour it before you. Tukitoka hapa uombe ukijua hawa kina Martha na Kalonzo na Kioni na kina Wandai ni watu sampli gani. Because our hearts are hurting, and not just us, all Kenyans. So, you ask yourselves, in Kilifi, where this thing happened, there is a chief, assistant chief, na of course intelligence, the whole government network. I don't think it is enough, my learned junior brother, Kindiki, to just have gone there and said, I'm changing. There's something basically wrong. This has taken a very long time to happen. It did not just happen. So somehow, as Wandai was quoted today saying, if in a functioning government, this cannot happen. So that we don't end up saying a cult. A cult, somebody worshipping God upside down, is guaranteed under the Constitution, but they are not allowed to take lives. They are not allowed to take lives, because that becomes something else. So I just wanted to comment to that extent on what has clearly been happening, and we wish you well. May your next 20 years bring with them tremendous soul harvesting, and growth. Mother blessed your office. You said, oh, forgive my small office. And she said, utabarikiwa mpaka ushangae. This congregation will grow. We may not come every day, as you said, every Sunday, but once in a year we can come. You notice when I came, I said, hey, Bishop, hamujaenda sana. Next time we come, we want to worship not under the tent, but in there, in God's name. So, the next 20 years, if our Lord tarries, na vile askofu kutoka Tanzania alihubiri, mimi nilifurahi sana. Yaani watu wanapatwa na shida, mpaka mtu anasema, Yesu kuja, na kuja wewe mwenyewe usitumane. There are songs to that effect. Usitume mtu, kuja wewe mwenyewe. And of course you take his time, because he's God. So, as long as he doesn't come quickly, we'll do our best. Mkora alionekana ameiba akapata pesa nyingi zaidi, alafu akaambiwa akahubiriwa the gospel of salvation, akasema okoka. Akasema jameni, yani unasema Yesu anakuja, kwa nini hakuja wakati nilikuwa maskini, nao nimepata mali? So all kinds of things, but these are holy jokes. I've just finished reading a book called Spare. No, I'm just going to finish it today. In fact, I read it up to 4 o'clock this morning. Spare is talk about the British monarchy. Prince Harold, Duke of Sussex, who now lives somewhere in California because he had to flee. Because of so much, just because he got married to an African. Waingereza wakaona sasa naharibu mambo ya urithi, all that. Beautiful reading, and it's a big book. But yesterday I read to a place where alienda kumuona a famous British musician called Elton John. How many of you have heard of Elton John? How many of you know that Elton John is gay? Okay. Yeah. So the young man in his writing says he went to meet Elton John in France with his family. And they said he met him with his husband. Now those words are still ringing in my mind. So when God created man, you know, there's that creation, I think in the spiritual and then the physical. When he created them, man and woman. I don't want to delve into that big area of divinity and theology. But there's a lot happening in the world today. Wacha nikamilishe kusema yafuatayo. And I hope mmepata wimbo. Stand up for Jesus. Ye soldiers of the cross. Allow me to also just lead you through. I promised to lead you. Wow. Another thing. The lyrics, stand up, I'll read them. Stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. Lift high his royal banner, it must not suffer loss. From victory unto victory, his army shall he lead, till every foe is vanquished, and Christ is Lord indeed. Stand up for Jesus. Stand in his strength alone. The arm of flesh will fail you. Ye dare not trust your own. Put on the full gospel. Put on the gospel armor, as in Ephesians 6:10. Putting on the full armor of God. Each piece put on with prayer. Where duty, I love this. Where duty calls or danger, be never wanting there. That is taking the risk. Stand up for Jesus. The strife will not be long. This day, the noise of battle. The next, the victor's song. To those who vanquish evil, a crown of life shall be. They with the King of glory shall reign forever. Why have I chosen this? I hear the police have already issued an edict, and I must thank our chairman ODM, Mheshimiwa Alado. Hey, we are still in church, my friend. I'm talking to Alado. I'm not talking to you. I have not seen a man with more commitment to a cause in this country than Mheshimiwa Alado. Mheshimiwa, I congratulate you. So, and of course, my brother Kione, my sister, have talked to you. How many of you belong to the army of Jesus Christ? How many? I just want to see before I sing. Now, my commander-in-chief, mother, is Jesus Christ of Nazareth, not William Ruto. Okay. Bungei is taking instructions from his commander-in-chief, and he talks of ruthlessness, that he will deal with us ruthlessly. And indeed, they did. When we came to Embakasi South, Mheshimiwa Mawadhe, I tried to reach you that time. You were somewhere in Mombasa. I think you wanted to fly to get here. But I tell you, we were so well received by people of Embakasi South. I've never seen more excited Kenyans believing in a cause, wanting unga to come down. But when we got to pipeline, Mheshimiwa kijana Musangi was a casualty. Alipigwa Musango. Alipigwa. Alipigwa hata risasi. And the wonderful ladies who are pouring water. Na wakaimba that Catholic hymn. Nisafishe. Unioshe nitakaze niwe mweupe. We composed that song here. We saw tremendous encouragement. You cannot kill that spirit of the Kenyan people. You can't. They must really accept, we must accept there's a basic problem and we must deal with it. So I now want us to stand up and sing, because this is important. Stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. Its eyes royal banner, it must not survive. Duty cause of danger, be never wanting there. Stand up for Jesus, the strife will not be lost. The time. I see that you all are conversant. This battle will not be long. On Tuesday, Bugeis and Komes tear gas. The next, the victor's song. We stand up for Jesus. And yet, as mother said, we are open. We said it, we are open to dialogue. We gave our 7 names. One of the members is here, Mheshimiwa Mili, a senior legal practitioner, and others. And all there is, I see they have issued a statement. This is my advice. This is my advice to William Ruto as a younger brother. Because he got to a stage where William was saying, Steve, our bigger brother. He likes to call us our brother. And now he called Raila his brother. No longer Mutu, wavitendawili, sio mganga, and we know that Raila goes to Anglican church. His brother. So at the end of the day, we are all brothers. Our brother from Tanzania. Spread the message. Sisi ni ndugu. Kasema Mwalimu Kabarage Julius Nyerere, under whom I had the privilege to work, helping our brothers and sisters in Burundi. We are brothers. My advice to my brother William Ruto, you have already announced that you can drop Canaan from the list of 14. And if I saw the statement correctly, you are not asking Azimio to drop Kosing because Kup is a member of Azimio. You're actually just suggesting, in the event there are issues of conflict in accordance with the agreed terms of reference, then he can also step aside. The agreed terms of reference have to do with fidelity among the 5 points: integrity of the electoral justice system, the need to restructure IBC, of course beginning with the cost of living, which can be done administratively. I hope when Ruto said he's bringing the unga down to this week, we hope it will come down to below 100 shillings. Now, my advice to you, get Otiende Amolo, senior counsel, and the other gentleman on the other side is actually a neighbor at home from the Raka constituency, Moragara. Let the two of them sit and wangae, because we must prescribe solutions. We love this nation. Let them announce today, latest tomorrow, that they have agreed on the composition again. We will then be able to review our position. Because if they go and say again they can agree, I disagree with William when he says that Mother and Raila can go and apply to court and get the server open. It's a matter on the table. The 14 of them can agree that let us agree to open the server, because it is in the terms of reference. This is my advice. Therefore, Bishop Obonyo, we thank you for giving us the opportunity to come to this wonderful congregation and suggest a solution and a way forward. How many of them think I've tried? How many of you think I've tried? Because if there isn't, it doesn't help to come up and say, I'm the commander-in-chief of Kenya's defense forces. Hata kama ni kijana moja nimemwona pale kidogo anavalia uniform, anasema yeye ni KDF. Kamwambia fungua KDF, anasema Kalonzo Defense Forces. It may look weak, but you do not underestimate the resolve of the Kenyan people to get justice. We therefore must attempt to bring closure to what happened in 2022 in a manner that will surprise the East African community, because we are members of the community. We don't want to go the Sudan way. I still keep on saying we have never had a government statement telling us how are we helping Kenyans in Khartoum to get home. Other nations, Britain has lifted over 1,500. Wengine wana drive from Khartoum. I don't know how many of you have been to Khartoum. To the border with Egypt is over 1,000 kilometers. To get to the Port Sudan, which is the port city of Sudan, is another 800 kilometers. People, I think the Turkish Airlines ilipigwa risasi na wengine between the two warring generals. We don't want to go that way. Mr. William Ruto, my brother. I call you my brother because you know I know you. Put the interests of this nation before yours, and you'll be a great person. You'll be a brother. Let the children go. Let the people cross the Red Sea. Do not put obstacles to them. If you do, because it's all there in the Constitution. Kenyans are an amazing people. We negotiated an amazing constitution. which is acclaimed as one of the best in the world, Constitution 2010. Let us not have Bungei suspending the Constitution in your name. Mr. William Ruto, you'll be a great leader if you listen to your senior brother. May God bless us. Thank you again, Bishop Obonyo, and we look forward to coming back. Now, if you allow me, I wanted to, on behalf of these friends, these leaders, they know that you have to complete that work. I belong to a group that says that had come up with a biblical approach to completing the task. Because you know there are very many unreached souls in many parts of the world. So complete the task. This task here, our friends from Nigeria are amazing. The sense of worship. I used to want to believe that Kenya was supposed to be the springboard for outreach, the gospel outreach across the African continent. But I think our brothers from Nigeria have overtaken us. We congratulate Nigeria. They truly worship, and they do it in all manner. So, this is a moment. This is a moment. Let us complete this task. We want to make a contribution. Our brother Raila has sent his contribution. Yeah. And I don't think we need you to announce unless you are doing it publicly. I'll just give you our envelope.